Good morning. We are on day 5. High five, everyone. You guys are doing this. I am so thrilled that you guys are joining me in this journey. And gosh, you know what? We're only on day 5 out of 21 days. We're almost a week into this. You are coming back every day. You are spending time with God. You are making time in your schedule to pray for your business, and you will see the blessings from this. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, Lindsay, Miriam, Paula, and Dale. So excited to see you guys on here this morning. I don't know about you all where you are in your part of the country, but I woke up to snow this morning. I was actually very surprised. My hat looks a little crooked. Look at that. I don't know. Does that look better? It's kind of funny watching yourself when you're on TV here. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Amanda. Yeah, I woke up to snow this morning on the ground. I mean, I heard yesterday that there might be some snow showers moving through the area, but when I went to bed last night, there was nothing happening. And then I woke up this morning and there's just a thin blanket of snow covering everything. So it's kind of pretty. I think I'll be heading out today to try to wind up some last Christmas shopping things that I need to do. I don't know, maybe I'll have to do more. I'm one of those last minute people, you guys. I'm a procrastinator. I put things off. But hopefully the roads will be okay when we get out there. Amanda, you had some flurries, but you wish you had a lot. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, down in your area in Knoxville there, I imagine that when it snows, it is a big deal. And I remember I was in Clinton, Tennessee one year, close to you, and they had a major ice storm move through when we were leaving that turned into a snowstorm, and we were driving through the mountains. And, oh, man, was I praying that trip. I was driving a bunch of teenagers in a big passenger van for the ministry group my daughter was in. And at one point we pulled off of the highway to get gas, and there were cars that were spinning out. Good morning, Cora. And the kids were getting out and helping push people. And oh my gosh, we were just praying, Lord, keep us safe, keep us safe. And he did. He was faithful. So anyways, let's do a little recap here. Miriam's just called in. Oh, so you're in Nashville. All right, Miriam. So you're close to Amanda. She's in Knoxville, at least, you know, same state. Paula, last minute. Haven't even started other than ordering. Oh, you're last minute too, like me. Okay. Yeah, I gotta hop online and order a few things, and then head out and get a few things. And I think I'll make a Costco trip today too. So we're actually going to be talking about our busy schedules today and what our days look like. Day 5, the theme today is to be intentional. So day 1, it was giving control to God. Day 2 was letting go of our past, right? And day 3, we talked about how Day 2 is freedom from the past. Day 3, we talked about that we are uniquely made. We are wonderfully and fearfully made in God's image, and he has given us wonderful gifts to use daily, to use to share his glory. And then yesterday, we talked about catching a vision. I noticed that some people were commenting about a vision statement for our businesses. Yes, that is very important. To sit down and reflect and think, all right, what is the vision I have for my business? Or more importantly, we're learning, what is God's vision for our business, right? So today we're talking about being intentional. And I really like this word, intentional. A couple years ago, so several years ago, actually, at the beginning of each year, I try to take time to quiet myself, to meditate and pray, and ask God to give me a word for the year, right? A word that I can concentrate on, a word that gives me focus in whatever it is that I'm doing. And a couple years ago, he gave me not only one word, but 2 words. One was consistent, to be consistent. And the second word was intentional, to be intentional. And that was when my business really flourished, when I was consistent and intentional. And those are two words that I share with my team on a regular basis. They hear me say it all the time. If you want your business to grow, you need to be consistent and intentional about what it is you are doing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Being consistent. So I'm going to go over a few highlights that Monique has here in the book. The on page, I have the page number written over because I wrote so much. You guys, I wrote so many notes on this one here. So it's at the beginning of day 5. It's on page 32. Okay. So if you have the book and you have it in front of you and you want to follow along. First paragraph there, she said she wants to focus on the importance of being intentional. You see, we can read things and understand concepts, but we need to be intentional with applying those things to our life and our business. Take what you read and apply it to your life. When I read that, I was thinking to myself, oh my, how many times in my life have I said, oh yeah, that book, that self-help book, that's good. That leadership book, that's good. I'm going to read that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, read all about how I can be a better leader, a better businesswoman, a better, whatever. Better mother. When I was, my kids were younger, I did a lot of books on parenting and just mothering. And I tell you what, guys, it doesn't do anything for us if we don't put it into action, right? We can read all we want, we can hear all we want about things. We can listen to podcasts. We can, do all kinds of things. But if we're not actually using what we learn and putting it into action, it's useless, right? What's the point? At that point, you're just wasting your time, right? It's become something that fills, but it doesn't sustain. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're putting the stuff into action. What we're doing in this study, guys, don't let it go to waste. Put it into action. Give God that control. Don't try to take it back. Give it to him. Apply it, right? Our past, put it behind you. Don't say, oh, wait a minute, I think I need that. I'm going to take that back off the shelf and I'm going to put it back in my backpack. No, we're not going to do that either. Right? So, the things that we're learning in this study, we need to make sure that we're putting these things in action. I'm going to catch up on the comments. Good morning, Mary. Intentional is your 2018 word, Amanda. Yes, I remember you posted at the beginning of the year about that, and that reminded me that I needed to still pick my word, and my word was to be thankful. And I've been very lacking on this, but I created a jar that I have little strips of paper, and every time I'm thankful for something, I put it in my jar so that when I'm going to keep this year after year, and that way when I am having a little pity party or things aren't going right or whatever, I can open up that jar and I can pull out those slips of paper and see how many blessings I have in my life that I'm thankful for. So Miriam, those are your 2 words. Being consistent, being intentional, they're awesome words. And they have been for years. Yes. And you know what? I think I'm going to be adopting them again. I mean, just going through the study, being intentional, being consistent, that's something that it shouldn't just be for a year. It should be for the rest of our lives. Right. And Darlene, good morning, Darlene. Anybody else here real quick? Good morning, Debbie. Okay, so as I was reading this, I wrote down, I mentioned a favorite quote of mine the other day from Yoda from Star Wars, do or do not, there is no try, right? People say, oh, I'm going to try that. Well, either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, right? They see a recipe, oh, I'm going to try that recipe. You're either going to make it or you're not going to make it, right? So, when it comes to this stuff, we're either going to do this, we're going to do it God's way, or we're not going to do it. So there is no in between, right? And then I also put down here just something that came to my mind is that, you know what? This is where the rubber hits the road, guys. This is it. This is the time. This is the perfect opportunity for you to start putting this stuff into action in your daily lives, in your business. Okay. So the next paragraph here goes into why there are times in our lives where we're not intentional, or if we're not being intentional, what is it that is holding us back? What is it that is keeping us from being intentional? And I used to lead a class at church in our growth and healing ministry, and it was called Overcoming Adversity. And people would come in there that were going through a difficult time. Some people came in just one night. They were in a rough spot, and they needed some encouragement, and they needed to get a plan in place to start putting one step in front of the other and move forward. Some people were in there every single week. Some people had been stuck where they were for years, guys. And one of the things that I shared with everyone is that sometimes the bad and negative things in our lives, things that have happened to us, maybe hurts, whatever, we talked about this in day 2 with our past. Sometimes we can find, and this may sound a little strange, we can find comfort in them. She used that word, Monique used that word, waller. We can waller in them because it's comfortable. Pigs waller in the mud because it's comfortable for them, right? Ew, we don't want to do that. Think about that. Think about that. Next time you are stuck on something and you don't want to let it go because you feel that it is, it's a part of you and it has to stay with you. Think about a pig in the mud and say, nope, not going to be a pig today. We're going to clean ourselves up. And so, sometimes we can find comfort in our dysfunction. So we need to learn to move past it. Sometimes we have old ways that we're set in, right? They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, yes, you can teach an old dog new tricks. You can learn from your past mistakes and be able to move forward. So I'm going to say that one more time. Sometimes we can find comfort in our dysfunction. Guys, that's no way to live. That is not how God wants you to live. We need to be able to let it go and move forward. So being intentional, it can be hard sometimes. It can be hard to find the energy to be intentional, especially if you have been stuck for a long time. Getting that gumption, that motion, that energy behind you to push you, propel you forward. Sometimes it can be exhausting. So she asked us to write down our thoughts on, and she said, why is it difficult to put action behind the things we know will be good for our lives? Share a few thoughts. So for me, I'll share what I wrote. I wrote that being intentional can be exhausting. For me, it's an all or nothing thing. When I'm on, I'm on. And it's hard to shut me off. And then I get exhausted because I'm going. Okay, we're doing great. We got this momentum going. It's like a snowball going down a hill. And then when the snowball finally gets at the bottom of the hill, what happens? It crashes, right? So I get a lot done and things are going great. But at the same time, I am just going, and I get to the point where I just completely shut down, exhausted, need to go spend time with my BFF, my bed. I tell my family that I have a relationship with my bed. It's one of my best friends. I like to spend time with it on a regular basis. So anyways, I find it hard. It's hard to find balance sometimes. Sometimes I intentionally shy away from being intentional because I know where it will lead for me. So, this is me talking. These are my thoughts on being intentional. I know it's good for me. I know that it's the only way to be able to move forward and to grow is to be intentional. But at the same time, sometimes I find comfort in my dysfunction of I just don't want to do anything. I just need time. And, you know, I don't necessarily think it's a complete bad thing for that at all. I think we do need times of rest. We need to have that downtime to be able to function the next day, right? That's why we sleep at night, right? Or most of us, you know, we're awake during the day, we do things during the day, and then we sleep at night so that we can be ready to get up the next day and do things again. So think about that. So for me, I just need to find balance. I need to know that being intentional doesn't need to be as energy sapping for me. I can still do it and not crash at the bottom of the hill. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see if anybody else, what you guys are saying. Chris says, haven't read this, but a friend said it's an amazing book, John Gordon. Yes, John, and I think that was actually the time that I started picking the word. I did read that book by John Gordon, and I think that's when I started doing that. So yeah, thanks for that reminder, Chris. So all right, so at the bottom of page, what page is this again? I'm sorry, I wrote over the page number, page 32. She talks about what keeps us from being intentional. And so I shared for me what keeps me from being intentional. But when I think about other people, especially in my line of business, what I'm seeing is, and even not just with business, I'll take that back. It's not just with business. I've seen it through my kids with their friends and their friends' parents, and just a simple invitation to a birthday party. People check maybe. Maybe they'll come. They don't know. They're not a no, they're not a yes, they're a maybe. That bugs me. That really bugs me. I don't know. Does it bug anybody else? Like, you know, do or do not. There is no try, right? It's like you're either going to be there, you're going to make the time, and you're going to commit to being there, or you have something else going on, and that's okay, and you can't be there. But don't say maybe, and then nobody knows. So, you know, I wrote down here, people are so non-committal these days. They're so busy that they don't want to commit to anything, and they want to make sure that they are leaving an open door in case something better comes along. And we talked about open doors yesterday, right? In the creative vision. It's like, yeah, we want to walk through those open doors, but we need to be able to say yes to them, right? And then the shut doors, leave them there. It's a shut door. We don't want to force it open, right? But, you know, people are just so non-committal these days, and that drives me nuts, guys. That's one of my things. Don't be a non-committal person. Either do it or do not, right? There is no try. So that's all my little soapbox for the day. So on the next page, on page 33, she has us write out our daily, like what happens in our daily schedule. And first thing I said was, well, I will need a whole lot more room than you've given us here, because there's no way I can write everything I do in a day in this, you know, see, can you guys see that? In that little space. Like I was spilling down into the next paragraph here, and I wasn't even finished writing. I only got to dinner. I do things after dinner, so I couldn't even finish writing that out. Cora says she goes through the same process. Miriam, intentional does not mean keeping busy. We have to be intentional about taking care of ourselves too. Yes, taking care of ourselves, being intentional about taking care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves first, how can we take care of anybody else? How can we take care of our family? How can we take care of our employees or our teams? You know, in my line of business, we need to focus on personal business first. Because if we don't have personal business, then we have no business doing team business. We need to model that behavior for our teams. So you know, if my business isn't where it should be, how can I expect anybody else's business to be where it should be? Something to think about. Amanda says, let your yes be your yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think I mentioned that book the other day, Lisa TerKeurst, The Best Yes. Read it, guys. It is amazing. She has a book and she has a study that accompanies it too, if you wanted to do that. But it's learning when to say yes and when to say no. So it's a great book. So anyways, I started writing down my schedule. You know, I wake up normally around 8 a.m. During these 21 days, I am getting up earlier. That is my intent. I am being intentional about getting up earlier every day so that I can be prepared and be with all of you. When I first get up, what's the first thing I do? Even before I sit up in bed, I grab this thing, right? And I open up my email, and one thing I do is I get the K-Love verse of the day emailed to me, and that is the first thing I open up and I look at, and I read that scripture in there. So that's one little thing. Then I check Facebook, I check emails, you know, and seeing, you know, what's going on in the world, check the news of the day, right? Not the real news, just the Facebook news. You know, and then if I don't have anywhere to be first thing in the morning, maybe I'll watch a replay of a TV show that I missed the night before, a couple nights back. So that'll take another hour or so, right? If I do have where to be, I'll get up and I'll get ready. Usually it's either a meeting I have to be at or my women's Bible study that I lead on Thursdays. Right now we're in between studies, so I don't have to be anywhere on Thursday mornings, which is it's a nice little break, but then I have this to fill the time with as well. Let's see, what else after that? Oh, then I head down to the kitchen, let the dogs out, go to the potty, then I feed them. Then I make some coffee, look at lunch depending on the time. You know, am I going to eat something? I'm not typically a breakfast person except for just coffee. Then I head down to my office down here to do some work, you know, in a couple hours here. And by the time I'm done with that, it's time for me to go pick my daughter up from school. It's going on 2:30 in the afternoon. So I go pick her up from school. Matthew, if he has any sports practices, I need to pick him up, go pick him up. Run Ashley to work, come home, figure out what we're doing for dinner, head back down to the office to work for a little bit until Jason gets home. Then I fix dinner and relax, or sometimes I come back down in the office and do some more work. I have team meetings, Zoom meetings in the evenings, or trainings that are going on. And after that, that's where I stopped. But there's still even more. Like, you know, like we're busy, right? We're busy. I'm busy all day long. I have something going on. There's barely a time where I'm sitting here just twiddling my thumbs, right? And if I were, then I'd be like, okay, I need to do something because I'm not being productive. And now I'm adding, I put a little side note on here because this was my regular routine. And now I'm being sure to add in spending time with God first thing in the morning. So that has become a priority for me. So the next thing she had us do was to write down things that we have to do. Out of this whole list that we wrote on here of our daily schedule, what are things that we have to do? So, you know, first thing, yeah, I've got to take the dogs out. They've got to be taken care of. They can't take care of themselves. I need to take care of them. I need to pick the children up and take them where that they're needed. I need to, you know, fix dinner for my family and do any housework that's needed. I need to work in my office, right? I need to work on my business. If I don't work my business, I'm not going to have a business, right? And I need to spend time with my husband in the evenings. I think that's important. And sometimes I'll admit, you know, I run down here to the office to work more. And then he comes down and looks at me and he's like, are you coming to bed? You know, and I'll be like, oh, what? I got a couple more things I got to do. I'll be up in just a little bit. Next thing I know, it's going on midnight and he's already asleep. He's a morning person. I'm not. I'm a night person. He's a morning person. And he goes to bed usually by 10 o'clock. Very rarely is he up past 10. But anyways, Yeah, so I need a must is I need to spend time with my husband for the two of us in the evenings since he's gone for work during the day. So what can I cut out on my schedule? What is something that is not important that I could cut out? And I wrote down too much social media or TV or TV. Like I could cut those things out. Part of my business is being on Facebook. It is an integral part of my business, so I can't necessarily give up Facebook. And I wouldn't be here with you guys if I gave up Facebook, right? But you know, I also wrote on here about being on social media or TV is when I do have that time, it's my time to relax. I'm going all day long, doing different things. And I don't want to feel guilty for watching a TV show or watching a movie or, you know, taking some mindless time to scroll through Facebook. I am not going to feel guilty for that. Can I cut it out? Yes. Is it something that I don't need to do every single day? Yes, absolutely. So anyways, this is really good that we are examining our day-to-day. Like it's okay, so who does planners for your day, right? And I like the ones that have the month, and I like the ones that have the week, and then the days are broken down hour by hour. I feel like I can really be more productive if I'm writing down my schedule of things to do, right? If I can be more intentional, I can have a checklist of sorts that I can check things off as I go through the day that I've done. And at the end of the day, I can look at it and I can see like, wow, I really got a lot accomplished today, or man, I didn't get as much done today as I really needed to or should. And some of these things are going to have to move to the top of the priority list tomorrow. So I always have my planner on me, and I do a paper planner, and I have my calendar on my phone. And if you see behind me up here, where's that? Up there, my calendar in the back. It's my dry erase board calendar, so that I can see things at all times. Yeah, I'm a little bit obsessive about things, but anyways. So I think this is a really good day, guys. I mean, being intentional about your business, being intentional about making sure that God is a part of your daily routine, that you're inviting God into your business. I mean, guys, this is, as I said before, this is where the rubber meets the road. Rubber hits the road, however that saying goes. It's important for us to recognize it, number one, and then apply it. So we need to apply being intentional to our lives. So the memory verses that she gave us here, it says, if you struggle to be intentional with your time, I challenge you to memorize and think about these verses. They have been game changers for me, for Monique. So the first one is Psalm chapter 90, verse 12. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Wouldn't you guys love to have a heart of wisdom? You know, God can give that to us, but we need to ask for it, and we need to be intentional about it, right? Second verse is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it. So not just saying, okay, give me the information. Okay, now they give you the information, and now you need to do it. Now you need to walk in it. You need to walk the walk and talk the talk, right? And when you do that, you will find rest for your souls. So, you know, part of my prayer with God is show me that balance. Provide a way for me to be able to balance being intentional and having rest at the same time. That's my prayer. So we need to number our days and make them count. We need to ask where the good way is and walk in it. We need to be intentional. When we figure this out and walk in it, we will gain a heart of wisdom and find rest for our souls. Excellent summary for those 2 verses. There's another memory verse that she has in the flip charts. This little thing here, there, so you can see it. The flip chart that came with the book bundle. I know some people didn't get the bundle, they just ordered the book, and some people didn't get the book at all. And so I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. And then also the verses will be posted there. The post is scheduled to pop up around 9 o'clock with the memory verses for today. Little housekeeping. Just so you guys know, because I know there's been some questions about it. I go live at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. The Walk It Out action steps I post at 8:45. And then the memory verses for the day I post at 9 a.m. Okay? And prior to going live, I will do 2 worship songs, one at 7:45, one at 7:50, so that we can worship before we come together. Okay, so just so you guys know that. So the 3rd verse that she has for the memory verses today is James chapter 4, verse 14. Yet I do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. We're not promised tomorrow. God gives us grace and mercy every morning when morning comes. And we find joy in the morning, but we're never promised the next morning. So, what we do today matters. What we do today counts. Be intentional about your day today, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. I have a friend in our business, and a week ago, I can't remember the exact day, but her husband had a fatal brain aneurysm. He's gone. He's gone for his wife and for his children and for his friends and the rest of his family. We're not for promise tomorrow, guys. So make each day count. Be intentional about everything that you do. Seek God's ways, so that you can find rest for your own soul, because that's what He'll provide for you. So those are our memory verses today. Towards the end of the day, the chapter, she asks us to talk about our values. What do we value? So yesterday was creating a vision. So I feel like we're building a business plan here, guys, a God business plan, God-inspired business plan, because we have our vision statement that we have for our business, right? And for our lives. You can do this for your family too. And now we're going to write down our values, or as some businesses call them, their core values. So what are your values, and are you being intentional with them? So for me, she asked us to write down the top 5 values that we have. So I wrote God, family, helping others / serving. So helping others and serving is one. Personal fitness, I'm working on that. And time management, I'm working on that too. And then she asked us to basically evaluate them. How intentional are we being with each of these values? So with God, I said, God is winning at the moment, so let's keep it that way. I am spending time with Him every morning. I am working on forming a habit with these 21 days that we're going through. And I hope that you are too. That is my prayer, that this becomes a habit for you. Every morning you get up and you spend time with the Lord and you invite Him into your businesses. Second value is family. And I said, I feel I have a good mix and can't even read my own handwriting. keep them first, but they need to understand that I still have a job to do. So yeah, my kids, sometimes they get a little frustrated with me when they say, "What are we doing today, Mom?" And I say, "Well, I have a show to go to." Oh, they don't get to spend time with Mom. They don't get to go do things. We don't get to go do things as a family when I have to go do my job. But I still have to do my job. I mean, it's just how it is, right? And I pray and hope that they recognize that, especially as they grow older, realize that what I am doing with my job is all for them. It's providing the ability for me to be home with them that I wouldn't have. So I hope that they do understand that. Helping others and serving others. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about that right now too. This group here is amazing, and I am just so blessed and thrilled that God has given me the job to lead all of you guys through this 21 days of prayer. I'm blown away. We now have over 300 people in this group, guys. Over 300 people. We are all joining together in prayer for our businesses. And that right there, I mean, God's got to be like, gold star, good job, you got this one, and I'm so glad that you accepted the task. So it pleases my heart to know that I am doing His work. That makes me happy. I mean, happy, ecstatically happy. I can't even describe how happy it makes me to know that I'm doing His work. Personal fitness. Well, I'm working on that. I told you guys I am training for a half marathon in February, and I honestly was great last week. This week, haven't been so good about getting into the gym. It's been too cold to do it outside, so I'm working on it. I'm getting there. And then time management, I could definitely do better on time management. I need to set a schedule and stick to it. I'm a little bit of a fly by the seat of your pants type of girl. And so, maybe you can relate to that. I don't know. Some people I know, they have a regimen that they do every single day. This is how it's going to go. I have younger sisters that are just starting their families. They have young children. And to them, having a schedule for their kids is so important. Like keeping them on a set nap schedule. And anything that disrupts that is, oh my gosh, like, I think sometimes we can be a little too rigid. I think there has to be some flexibility in there, right? But anyways, that's something I'm working on, is time management. So I'm going to end today with Monique's prayer for today, and then go over the walk it out action items, okay? So thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining in today and listening, or if you're watching the replay. God moves in big ways that we never, ever could have imagined. And I know He's doing good work in each of us right now through this study. And I pray that you are able to carve time out without feeling guilty through this, that you, even if you may fall behind, you're okay with it, and you're able to catch up at some point. We all have busy lives, right? That's what we're talking about today. It's taking the time to be intentional about what is important to you. Taking the time to be intentional about what God is asking of you. So that's what's important today, guys. So let's close here with Monique's prayer, and then I'll go over the the walk it out action items for today. Jesus, we love you so very much. We thank you for designing us with unique passions and values. Lord, we need your help. Teach us to number our days. Life can get so busy. Many things pull for our time and our attention. We stand at the crossroads and ask for the good way. We will find rest for our souls. Jesus, we will gain a heart of wisdom. We realize our lives are but a mist. We will make each day and each moment count. We know you have us here for such a time as this, and we will be intentional with what you have put before us. We ask for wisdom in how we spend our time. Help us to discern what to say yes to and what to turn down politely. We will be laser focused on the mission you have set out for us. Open our eyes to the distractions that are put before us. I thank you for those who are devoting this time to you, Lord. I thank you that they are being intentional and giving you a place in their lives and their businesses. I pray their values become crystal clear and you show them ways they can embrace those values in every aspect of their lives. Continue to make yourself known to my friends reading this book or listening. And I pray they experience your presence each and every day. We love you, Jesus. Amen. I love how she writes. God has given this woman such a gift, and I am just so thankful that she shared it with us. All right, so let's talk about the walk it out. Number 1, write out your top 5 values on several note cards and place them where you can see them often. Be intentional with these values and fight to get them in your day. Number 2, commit to taking at least one time waster and eliminating it from your daily agenda. I believe in you. You can do it. Number 3, high five for sticking with us this focused time of prayer for your business. You are being intentional. Yay, you. Keep on keeping on. That's such great encouragement, isn't it? So it's in the walk it out as number 3, but it's not necessarily a task because we're doing it. We're already doing it, right? Number 4, one of my favorite series from the Church of the Highlands, that's where she goes to church, is called 5. This was a game changer for me. Set aside time to check it out. You can watch the replay, and she gives the link, which I have posted. It'll come up at 8:45 here in a couple minutes in the walk it out. And then finally, number 5 is memorize and meditate on Psalm 90:12, Jeremiah 6:16, and James 4:14. So those are our memory verses, and those will be posted at 9 a.m. in here in about 15 minutes. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much for joining in today. Day number 5. Tomorrow is day number 6. We're almost a week into this. You guys are doing this. I'm so thrilled and excited for you and so proud of you. So thanks again for joining me, and have a great Tuesday. And today Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I'm already losing track of time. Have a great Wednesday, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye.